Skirmish season starts this weekend, and although I wasn't lucky enough to get a Living Legend skirmish near me, that doesn't mean the format's not here to stay. If you've been playing Flesh and Blood for a little bit, you definitely remember Chane and Oldhim. Now, I'm not going to say whether that's a good or a bad thing, but everybody remembers heroes in a different way and in a different light. After winning the first Pro Tour ever, Chane has solidified his names in the history book forevermore. Chane's ability to play with extra cards in his Banish Zone because of Soul Shackles gives him the ability to go 3 or 4 chain links wide while splitting up the damage with Arcane with cards like Seeds of Agony. Oldhim is known just a little bit differently though. Oldhim is definitely a slower, grindier deck that likes to use cards like Channel Lake Frigid and Crown of Seeds to stall the game out and make your opponent's hands awkward and eventually win the game with Winner's Well over and over and over again. The one big factor about playing in Living Legend that we never saw in CC is that Chane gets access to Duskblade. Thanks for stopping by, guys. I hope you enjoy the match. We're playing against Oldhim, and they chose to go first, which I think makes a lot of sense. They probably just want to swing the hammer at us to get cards out of our deck here. Ooh, interesting. My opponent's running 69 cards versus our 66. I don't know if I agree with that strategy. Generally, in my opinion, with Oldhim, you want to be pretty lean. You want to be able to... I was like, with Oldhim, you want to be pretty lean. So, I don't know. I'm pretty surprised to see that there. Okay. So, I think we'll go pitch Vexing Malice to activate Grasp. They do have AB1 here. They're running Rampart over Stalagmite, which is also an interesting choice. We're going to play Mauvrion Skies, and then we're going to play Bounding Demigon. I don't know that I want to create a Shackle this early in the game. This is going to be for 2 and 1 Arcane. I imagine we're going to be getting a card here, or we'll be getting a Crown of Seeds activation. We could make a Shackle here and try to get going, but we have Go Again already on this turn, so I don't really see the need to use Shackles this early. Oh, maybe Oldhim has something they want to throw at us. Maybe they have something they want to throw at us here. We could also just play the Unhallowed Rites here and put the Mauvrion Skies back on the bottom of our deck, but I think we want to start stacking up the Duskblade counters here. We can throw Duskblade for 3. And the more counters we can get on Duskblade, the better off we're going to be. That's ultimately the spot we want to be in here. Gosh, I've really missed playing Crown of Seeds. Crown of Seeds is just absolutely bonkers. Love that card. All right, so our opponent says no blocks here. Interesting. They took an Arcane on the first turn cycle of the game, which I wasn't expecting, I have to admit. And then it looks like they're taking 3 from Duskblade. Yeah, they are taking 3 from Duskblade. Color me surprised there. Color me surprised. Okay, Spinal Crush pretty early on in the game. Makes a lot of sense. I can... They don't have Pummel they're going to play here, so we could block with... Seeds of Agony and Bounding Demigon and the Grasp to block 7. And then we get to go lead the charge into Unhallowed Rites. Probably putting the lead the charge in the bottom of the deck. Nah, we'd probably just play Mauvrion Skies, right? Put the Mauvrion Skies in the bottom of the deck. Blocking 7 like this. So we're saving our Husk for a later turn, playing a little conservative here, and we're going to continue to stack up counters on our Duskblade, which is pretty good. That's exactly where we want to be. So we're going to go lead the charge into Unhallowed Rites for 4 Go Again. And, oh, is this... Oh, it's a non-attack action with Blood Debt, so we have to put the Seeds in the bottom. Okay, so blocking with the Seeds actually panned out better there. I haven't played LL in a long time, so I definitely should have read Unhallowed Rites. But it is good to note that we get to put the Seeds back on the bottom of the deck because it works well with our Shackles late in the game. Also, putting Eclipse here, we'll have to try and remember where Eclipse is in our stack so that we can draw into it, making sure that we can play 6 cards and then flip Eclipse here. Because Eclipse costs 0, we just have to make sure that we're flipping into it. Okay, so they give Rampart and Staunch here. A little surprised to see them give up Rampart and Staunch right here, and then Duskblade comes in for 4. Is this going to be a Sink Below or a Fate Foreseen? No, they're just taking 4. This has been an interesting game so far. Oldham's really making me question what they're up to over there. So this is a weird hand, right? This is an interesting one. Like, we don't really have a ton going on. So what we can do is I think we're going to take 6 here. I think this is a no blocks in case they do have the pummel here. If they have the pummel, which it appears they do, we can discard the lead the charge. It would also explain why they're taking so much damage, why they took so much damage on the last turn. So the pummel lets us discard the lead the charge. Imagine if this wasn't a once per turn action and you could just attack with it multiple times. How broken that would be. Lead the charge would be insane in this deck. So we're going to go Minnowism into Belittle for 6, no reveal. So this is 6 go again, and then we're going to throw Duskblade for 5. Now, we did take quite a bit of damage there, but I think it was a calculated risk because I was okay with arsenaling the yellow lead the charge. It's a great card here. And I was okay, I was okay with arsenaling a yellow lead to charge, or I was okay discarding it to the pummel if needed to be. And then this is going to be for 5. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to make a shackle here. I think we're going to start trying to get our shackle game on at this point. This is going to be a spot where we're starting to put our opponent probably below 30. Now, the go again doesn't really matter, but I do want to crash in for 5 here. Get a sink below. Probably going to be a Frosty Winter's Well and then a Arsenal, if I had to guess. Oh no, they're just going to play a Channel Lake Frigid. Interesting. So now let's look at our turn here and see what our turn looks like. What do we hit off our shackle here? A yellow Belittle. So I can pitch lead the charge. Channel Lake Fridge is looking pretty good right here. Let's think about our turn here for a minute and see what the best thing we can come up with here is. We're going to let our opponent know we're thinking. So if I play Seeds of Agony, I would have to pitch lead the charge, have 1 floating, pitch Shrill to attack for 3 and 1 arcane, 2 floating, and then I could throw the Duskblade. We could also, no, I think that's how it has to be because this costs 1, this costs 2, this costs 2. Yeah, that's pretty much how we have to play our turn. I would really like to arsenal something or set up something here, but actually, is there a world where I am supposed to play the Belittle? If I pitch leads the charge, play Belittle, I can go get a red Minnowism. That doesn't help me, though. Nah, that doesn't help me. That doesn't put us in a better spot. It doesn't really give us anything that we want to see here. So this is 3 and 1 arcane. I'm curious to know if they actually had a hand that would allow them to keep Channel Lake Frigid again. It probably not likely, right? Like Channel Lake Frigid, this isn't, Oldham's good at keeping it on the board for 1 turn, but it's not like Icelander where you're keeping it on the board for multiple turns. If they take a lot of damage here, it's really going to tell me that they have a hand that's going to keep it in play again. Okay, so they block with the Glacial Footsteps, and then we're going to pitch 2 to attack with the Duskblade. We're going to come in for 6 this time. So Duskblade is really where we're getting a lot of value in this matchup. We weren't able to make another shackle there because of Channel Lake Frigid. I have to say I was not expecting Channel. I was expecting them to throw the Winter's Well and Arsenal something. So playing around 1 Frostbite would have been fine, but the second one was not something I was thinking about. Okay, so they're on Fates and Sinks, which makes a lot of sense. You want to be playing both. And then there's no shot for them to keep the channel here, so we're going to be looking to try and have a pretty good hand. This is literally just 4. Yeah, this hand's really good. We could get ice reacted and kind of get put in a bad spot, but I think this hand's very good. Without the Frostbite, this hand also feels very strong. There might be a world where we can get a lot of value out of our 1 shackle here. 1 shackle at a time is not really killing us as far as like getting fatigued, but Could help us out quite a bit here. Ghostly Visit looking pretty strong. Ghostly Visit looking pretty strong. So we're going to go red Minnowism. Pretty sure there's one red Minnowism left in the deck. We're going to reveal the Bounding Demigon. So this is going to be for 6 go again. We are going to get the last red one here. I think we want to get the red one. And if they go to Ice React us, I think we just have to let it happen. I think if they go to Ice React us, we have to just let it happen. So if they Ice React us, what's going to happen is we're going to put blue Bounding Demigon on top of the deck. We're going to activate Chane, throw Ghostly Visit for 4, and then throw Duskblade. Now, the odds of them Ice Reacting us now are low. Okay. So from here, they're probably not going to Ice React us. It's just probably not going to happen. If I throw Ghostly Visit, I can then in turn, I can throw Ghostly Visit, activate Creepers, play Minnowism, and then play this and not throw Duskblade, and I think that's wrong. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to activate Chane. I think we want to throw this and leave the Ghostly Visit for next turn, right? So this is 1 go again, and then I'm going to throw the Duskblade. Now the Duskblade's coming in for 7, so the Duskblade gets a lot of value. We do go down to 23. This is a point in the game where we have to be a little bit careful as far as like how we play out the rest of the game with Husk. Husk could like we could get got by Husk at this point, and so like we're 13 is the threshold here. So we want to make sure that we are using Husk efficiently here. And I haven't really seen a hand or a turn where we've wanted to give it up to this point. So I still think we're in that spot where we're going to keep hanging on to it. Arsenaling the Minnowism gives us a lot of value for next turn. This is, again, just a vanilla 4. This puts us to 19. I'm trying to think about how we want to block here. So our turn is play Minnowism, make a Shackle, play Riftbind. No, I'm sorry. We're probably going to block with the Unhallowed Rites here. I think that's fine. If we block with the Unhallowed Rites, I think we're okay here. And then we get 2 Shackles coming up on our turn. Could be pretty good for us. Really depends on what comes off the top of the deck. Art of War and Seeds of Agony. Okay, so Seeds of Agony can do a lot of value. Can get a lot of damage here for us. So if we go Seeds of Agony, actually we can go Ghostly Visit into... I don't really want to activate Spellbound Creepers if I can help it here. So if I go Seeds of Agony into Ghostly Visit, we can Arsenal the Howl from Beyond here, but we are going to have to use Creepers here if we want to make this work. Which I think is fine. Ultimately, I think this is okay. So we're going to activate Chane. This is 4 go again with 1 Arcane. Now, if they Ice React us, we have the Howl from Beyond we can put on top of the deck. My main concern is that I want to make sure we are throwing Duskblade every turn. Actually, I think no, that wouldn't have worked because the Creepers isn't really getting us there anyway. Now, what we can do is activate Grasp and then just throw Duskblade, because this is already a pretty good hand here, right? So we activate Grasp, and then we pitch the Howl from Beyond. So they're going to use one of their floating here. They're going to use one of their 2 floating to pay for that, and then this is going to be for 8. We take 0 Arcane, or I'm sorry, we take 0 Blood Debt. We stay at 22, and this is for 8. I mean, The Duskblade itself is slowly winning us this game. Playing conservatively with the shackles and using the Duskblade has put us in a very, very positive position. Okay, they're just giving it all up. I personally think that them giving up their Autumn's Touch there is a panic move, and they should just arsenal it. I don't like that play for my opponent. 3 shackles incoming. Let's see what we find. Shadow Puppetry, blue Seeds of Agony, and Abounding Demigon. Okay, so play Minnowism. This is the last red Minnowism. There's another blue in the deck. We haven't banished it, right? Now there's another blue. I don't think we need to play the Belittle. I think we can arsenal it, right? So we're going to play Minnowism. We're going to go ahead and activate Chane to make a shackle. We're going to throw Bounding Demigon for 6 go again. I think if I'm going to play the Seeds, I need to play it, right? The Seeds is where we get value now. I don't really want to play this blue Seeds here. I think I would... Oh, sorry. I need to... We're going to revert to the start of this turn. We're going to apologize to our opponent. I forgot to... Yeah, so we're going to go Minnowism. We're going to go Seeds of Agony. Activate Chane. Oh, that's where I made my mistake. I activated Chane and then played Seeds of Agony, which is what gave the Seeds of Agony go again. Chane says Shadow or Runeblade action, so if you do that and then play Seeds, you will not get the value you want there. I'm going to activate Grasp. I think I want to arsenal this, right? I don't really want to play this out. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to throw the Duskblade here. It's kind of a pretty lackluster turn here. It's nothing to write home about, but throwing Duskblade for 9 every turn, like we have yet to miss a turn of throwing Duskblade, and that is getting us a ton of value here. Yeah, our opponent is getting to that point to where like we're starting to leak damage every turn because of Duskblade. So the patience and the slow game that we've played here, you're really starting to see the immense value we're getting from this. I think we're supposed to say no blocks here. Maybe we give Husk here. Like, this is probably just give up Husk. We're getting to that point to where it's like questionable, and I would like to save it for something like a Command and Conquer or a Spinal Crush, but I don't know that we're ever going to get there. All right, 4 shackles coming in. What do we got? Bounding Demigon, nothing, Seeds of Agony, Vexing Malice. Okay. So we're going to pitch the Minnowism. We're going to reveal a Riftbind to go get a blue Minnowism. This is going to be 2 go again here. And then we're pretty much setting this up to make sure that we have the resources we want. From here is where our turn kind of starts to take over. Okay, now here's where it gets interesting. So we're going to go Seeds of Agony. Bounding Demigon for 4 go again and 1 Arcane. Now, the Arcane's going to be pretty relevant here. Yeah, so they do end up blocking the Arcane. So we're going to lose our Spellbound Creepers this turn, but I still think that's okay. The husk is what's over there. The husk is what's over there. Nothing that really matters. We are going to activate Spellbound Creepers this turn. We are going to use Unhallowed Rites to put a red Seeds of Agony on the bottom of the deck. Actually, it's probably going to be Howl from Beyond, right? I think we have a Howl from Beyond over there. Okay, so they block efficiently. Activate Spellbound Creepers. Play Seeds of Agony. This gives us go again. We activate Chane. Throw Unhallowed Rites. So this is for 4 go again and 1 arcane. Really putting on the pressure here. Like, and they know that the Duskblade is coming. They know the Duskblade is coming. Okay, so we do not have a Howl from Beyond over there. So we're just going to put the seeds on the bottom. So 4 go again. We do have to be a little careful of our deck size at this point in the game. And then I'm going to activate Grasp. And we're going to throw Duskblade. So they're going to pitch they're going to use the 1 resource they have to pay Arcane. But it prevents them from using Rampart there. And then this is Duskblade for 10. Just Duskblade has, like, almost legitimately won us this game by itself. They go down to 3. We're going to Arsenal the Riftbind here. And we're going to draw a hand that works. 5 Shackles coming in. Howl from Beyond, insane. Art of War sucks. Bounding Demigon, good. Eclipse, not great. And then Shadow of Ursur. So I can play Howl from Beyond, play Mauvrion Skies, Bounding Demigon for 6 go again, on hit make a rune chant. The Shadow of Ursur is probably going to stay this turn. I think the Shadow of Ursur is going to stay in our Banish Zone this turn because it sets us up for a good go again hand next turn. They just gave us 2 cards and a piece of equipment to cover this up, which is exactly what we want to see. We're going to play Howl from Beyond, 2 floating, activate Chane, Riftbind for 6 go again, and then it's going to be Duskblade for 1 billion. It's going to be Duskblade for lethal. Like, Duskblade, I don't know how they get out of this turn. Duskblade is, like, literally going to come in for 11. So are they just taking the 6? No, they have a staunch response. Okay. And then Duskblade for 11. If you can stop this, I will be genuinely impressed. We have added a counter to Duskblade every turn, and we have just, like, literally we have bullied Oldhim with Duskblade. You are seeing the true power of why Duskblade was banned before it ever hit the format. Over the course of this game, I feel like there are 3 areas that really swung the tempo in my direction. First up is the fact that our Oldhim opponent never really used Crown of Seeds. Now, I understand you don't want to use Crown of Seeds every turn because you're trying to line up pummels or you're trying to set up these big plays, but it felt like our opponent only used it once or twice the entire game, and I honestly think that put them in a pretty bad spot. Second on the list is the fact that I was constantly keeping an arsenal. Now, if you've played enough Runeblade, you know that you can run into what's called a Runeblade hand, which is where you draw all attacks or you draw all non-attacks. Duskblade is a weapon that really favors us for playing an attack action and a non-attack action every single turn. So continuing to arsenal an attack or a non-attack really sets us up to dodge the whole Runeblade hand, keeping our foot on the gas. The third point kind of ties into the second point. It's the value of Duskblade. Duskblade swung for 11 on that very last turn. Now, Duskblade starts kind of slow because you're building counters and you're working your way up to it and you're getting there. But once you get Duskblade to 5 or above, you just have a 1 for 5 or better every single turn, which can easily keep you tempo or just keep leaking damage off of your opponent. Guys, if you see anything you think I missed, let me know in the comments down below. I'd love to hear about it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and subscribe for more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take it easy, guys.